When I tell you that everything was on the line during the 2019 NBA Finals, I mean everything was on the line. After years of disappointment, the Toronto Raptors went all in. They traded the face of their franchise for a superstar with 1 year left on his contract. This was their one shot at winning it all, and if they did, they'd kill a dynasty. Golden State was on the cusp of a three-peat. In doing so, they'd cement themselves as one of the greatest dynasties in league history. But with Kevin Durant in the final year of his contract, a loss in these finals can see the future of the dynasty headed out the door. I'm telling you, everything was at stake during the 2019 NBA Finals, and they were either going to make you or break you. Entering the 2019 Finals, the Golden State Warriors were making their 5th consecutive Finals appearance, looking to win their 4th championship in 5 years. But half a decade ago, no one saw this coming. In 2015, the Warriors were the NBA's darling, a young up-and-coming team that featured 2 of the best snipers in the league and an absolute maniac in the front court. And before you knew it, they were NBA champions. Despite their success, they were viewed as a one-hit wonder. They lucked out with injuries and they'd never make it back. But that's not exactly how it went. A unanimous MVP, a 73-9 season, and another appearance in the finals. Golden State was legit. And then they choked. A historical collapse in the 2016 finals shocked the NBA world, but it opened the door to an interesting possibility. 15 days later, Kevin Durant was a Golden State Warrior, turning one of the greatest teams in NBA history into what is arguably the greatest team of all time. And they sure as hell played like it. They put up the single greatest postseason run in league history with a 16-1 record to get revenge on the Cavaliers and capture their 2nd championship. And then they did it again. Back-to-back titles, 3 in 4 years, and they're officially a dynasty. But these cats wanted more. They were chasing immortality, and they had their eyes set on the three-peat. 2019 was a roller coaster for the Warriors. In a game against the Clippers just a month into the season, KD and Draymond got into a heated back and forth after Green didn't pass Durant the ball late in the game. Draymond reportedly told KD that they don't need him and that he should leave because the Warriors have won without him, to which KD reacted by mouthing the words, "That's why I'm out." This was a massive story. Durant was in the final year of his contract and his looming free agency clearly bothered him, and now just a handful of games into the season, the team's chemistry was in jeopardy. But at the end of the day, the Warriors were still the Warriors. They finished with a 57-win season and found themselves up against the Houston Rockets in round 2 of the playoffs. And in the 3rd quarter of Game 5, the hopes of three-peating took a blow. On a normal-looking jumper, Durant weirdly strains his right calf. He's forced to leave the game and is out for the rest of the series. All of a sudden, Golden State seems beatable, but they still got Curry. Steph embarrassed the Rockets to get to the Western Conference Finals. And then, he went nuclear. He averaged 36, 8, and 7 to sweep the Blazers and get back to the NBA Finals, keeping the dynasty and the three-peat alive. Reports state that KD is hopeful to make a return in the finals, and they'll need him because they're facing a team that has been knocking on the door for years now, and they may have just found the key. While the Warriors were making the NBA Finals year after year, the Toronto Raptors had their own yearly tradition. Like clockwork, they'd have an incredible regular season, finish as a top 3 seed in the East, and be viewed as legitimate contenders to beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. That never happened. In 2016, Toronto made the Eastern Conference Finals and surprisingly pushed LeBron and the Cavs to 6 games before being eliminated. In 2017, they'd get their rematch in round 2, but they got swept. And then 2018 came around. The Raptors had their best season in franchise history. They finished as the 1st seed in the East, and Cleveland just lost Kyrie Irving during the offseason. If they were ever going to beat the Cavs, it was now. But instead, LeBronto happened. James put the Raptors to sleep with a buzzer beater in Game 3 to go up 3-0 in the series. They got swept, and it was a 3rd consecutive playoff exit to LeBron and the Cavs. The Raptors had the reputation of chokers and frauds, all because of one man, but luck would finally swing their way. LeBron signed with the Lakers during the 2018 offseason, and Toronto's championship window was suddenly wide open, and they went all in. The Raptors traded the face of their franchise in DeMar DeRozan to San Antonio for Kawhi Leonard. This was an insane gamble. Kawhi had injury concerns and hadn't played basketball for nearly an entire season, plus the fact that he has 1 year left on his contract and he has no interest in playing in Toronto. The Raptors had one shot at this. Literally everything was on the line, and the Kawhi era started out pretty well. They finished with a 58-win season and second in the East despite all of Leonard's load management, and come playoff time, he was ballin', especially in round 2 against the Sixers.
Here if you're Philly. It's off to Leonard, defended by Simmons. Is this the dagger?
This moment is why the Raptors traded for Kawhi. A game-winning buzzer beater in Game 7 to finish with 41 points on the night. The dude was a machine. In the conference finals, they'd face the MVP and the first seed Milwaukee Bucks. And after going down 2-0 in the series, Kawhi demanded to guard Giannis, and it changed everything. Toronto won 4 straight games to clinch a spot in the NBA Finals for the first time in franchise history. Oh, and they'd have home court advantage. Entering Game 1, the Warriors stayed shorthanded. KD was hopeful to make a return in the finals, but nothing was confirmed. And after Game 1, they'd clearly need his help if they wanted to three-peat. The Raptors got up by 10 points in the first half, and they kept their foot on the gas the entire game. Curry kept the Warriors afloat with 34, but it was cancelled out by Siakam's 32 on insane efficiency. And Toronto draws first blood. After a fairly decisive win in Game 1, the Raptors came out in Game 2 with a bang.
Deflected by Lowry. Nice pass ahead from Gasol. Siakam! Oh, what a slam!
Siakam throws down a monster lob and the crowd goes crazy as part of a hot start for Toronto. But in the second half, the Warriors turned it on. Golden State tapped into another dimension and started the third quarter on an 18-0 run. It was an absolute takeover, but thanks to a 12-point quarter by Kawhi, Toronto was headed into the fourth, down just 8, which is when things got even worse for Golden State. At the 10-minute mark, Klay Thompson launches a 3 but lands awkwardly, suffering a hamstring injury and is forced to leave the game. The Warriors are now missing 2 of their 3 best players headed into crunch time of a crucial Game 2, and they somehow find themselves up 2 with 15 seconds left. A make can seal the game, but a miss would give the Raptors a chance to go up 2-0 in the series.
They try and knock it away from Curry. Curry throws it. Livingston has it. Back to Iguodala.
Of everyone on Golden State, open shot, fate of the universe on the line, or the Martians have the death beam pointed at Earth, you better hit it. I want Iguodala.
It's gone! Andre Iguodala drills it with fire.
Shout out Max Kellerman. With ice in his veins, Iguodala drains the dagger, and the series is tied at 1. Klay Thompson's hamstring injury in Game 2 was worse than anticipated. He'd end up missing Game 3, and with KD still on the sideline, the Warriors were screwed. Actually, that's not entirely true. They still had Steph Curry.
They're 5-1. Curry for 3. Curry shaking bait, 3-pointer. It goes! Curry glides inside and lays it up. Curry, foul line jumper. Curry, corner 3. It's good!
Steph turned into a human torch, dropping 47 points, the 9th most in a finals game ever, with 8 rebounds, 7 assists, and 6 threes. It was an all-time performance, but it just wasn't enough. Kawhi poured in 30 as part of an all-around game and kept the Warriors at bay. Van Vliet threw in a rainbow 3 with a minute to go to put the game out of reach, and Toronto takes care of business. Down 2-1 in the series, the Warriors got some good news in Game 4. Klay was back. But none of that mattered in this game because Kawhi was on a mission to put his team up 3-1. The Claw lit it up with a 17-point first quarter with an array of jumpers. The dude was playing like a prime Michael Jordan, and in the third quarter, he had an encore. He started the second half by rimming in a 3, getting a steal on Draymond, and pulling up for another triple right in his mouth for another 17-point quarter that put the Raptors ahead for good. Toronto takes a commanding 3-1 series lead behind Kawhi's 36-point, 12-rebound, and 4-steal masterpiece. He just put Golden State's Dynasty on the ropes, but their secret weapon was locked and loaded. The Slim Reaper was back. KD was making his long-awaited return to the finals in Game 5, and the dude was back like he never left. He exploded for 11 points in the first quarter, splashing home 3 3-pointers, and suddenly the hopes of a 3-1 comeback and three-peating were alive again. And then in a split second, it was gone. That was it. Just 11 minutes into his return, Durant tore his right Achilles. Not only was the Dynasty in jeopardy, but KD's future in basketball was just a massive question mark. We had no idea if we'd see the same player ever again. Without KD, Golden State kept the lead and were up 2 with 5 minutes left in the fourth. But as soon as the clock hit the 5-minute mark, Kawhi turned into the Claw.
Leonard for 3. Bang! Leonard drives, pulls up, bangs it home. Leonard's going to try another one. Puts it in! Kawhi Leonard! Leonard to the rim, pull-up jumper, got it! Kawhi Leonard taking over here in Game 5.
Leonard went unconscious, scoring 10 straight points for the Raptors to put them up by 6. But when the clock hit the 2:40 mark, it became splash time. Klay lasers a triple to cut the lead to 3 with a minute to go. Steph laces a fading 3 to tie the game, and the next possession, Klay pump fakes, takes one dribble, launches a shot, and puts them up 3. This game was madness. There's 10 seconds left and Toronto's down by 1. One shot can win them the championship. Kyle Lowry, the heart and soul of the Raptors, gets a good look in the corner, but Draymond gets a piece of it. The Warriors' big 3 comes through to keep the Dynasty alive and force Game 6. Game 6 was a breaking point for both teams. Do the Raptors fall back on their past failures and fail to close out the series for a second game in a row? Or can the Warriors make it back-to-back wins in the wake of losing Kevin Durant and avoid elimination? We were about to find out. In fitting fashion, the face of the franchise caught fire early for the Raptors. Kyle Lowry scored the first 11 points for his squad as part of a 15-point first quarter. But thanks to Klay's 18 in the first half, the Warriors headed into the break, up 3. And in the third quarter, both teams started throwing haymakers. At the 8-minute mark, Kawhi makes an insanely tough and 1 to put Toronto up 6. In Game 6, Klay had an answer. In transition, he pulls up for a 30-foot heat check, and of course, he makes it to tie the game at 76, to which Kawhi answers with another and 1, and then Klay responds again with another 3 to give himself 30 on the game, and we're only in the third quarter. The man was a flamethrower, but just a minute later, that flame was put out. While going up for a layup, Klay gets fouled, lands awkwardly, and grabs at his left knee in agonizing pain. He gets helped off the court, and that's it for Klay. Or so we thought. Halfway to the dressing room, Klay makes a 180 and sprints back to the court, and the Warrior crowd roars to his return. Little did we know that Klay had just torn his ACL, and with absolute heart and toughness, he swishes down both his free throws and then makes his way back to the locker room. That was the last time we'd see Klay on the court for over 2 years. Despite losing Klay and having no KD, the Warriors kept the game close headed into the fourth quarter, and it saw Fred VanVleet turn into a monster. With 9 minutes to go, he nails a 3 to tie the game at 91, following it up with another right in Curry's grill to put the Raptors up 1. And at the 3-minute mark, Quinn Cook loses him on the pick and roll, and he knocks down another triple to kickstart a 7-1 Toronto run to go up 6. Van Vliet was putting the team on his back, but the dynasty didn't go away so quietly. Draymond answered with a 3, and then DeMarcus Cousins threw in a wild layup to get the Warriors within 1 with 46 seconds left. On the next possession, Siakam drives down, Draymond reaches for a steal, and he steps right around him to float it in and go up 3 with 26 seconds left. And that was it for Golden State. Nah, I'm just kidding. Steph responds with 2 free throws to cut the lead back to 1. The Raptors inbound, the ball gets thrown to Danny Green, and he rips it into the first row. The Warriors have a chance. With less than 10 seconds left, Golden State has the ball down by just 1. Steve Kerr draws up a beautiful play to free up the man who started this dynasty, and it's up to him to keep it alive.
Get him the ball and get out of his way. An NBA championship on the line. Iguodala throws it to Green, who catches it. Back to Curry, puts up a 3. The Golden State Warriors are the 2015 NBA champions. Their first title in 40 years. There it is, redemption for Golden State. One of the great playoff runs of all time is complete. There's a new dynasty in the NBA. The Golden State Warriors champions once again. There's a new NBA champion, and it's a team from Toronto, Canada. We, the North, are now we, the champions. The Raptors, the 2019 NBA champs.